Punished when kids make weight and other teams don't have that luxury. The bottom line is Decorah had 14 kids make weight tonight and New Hampton had 12, and little things like that often make a big difference in the sport of wrestling. So Kennedy Folkedahl, Cole Stanford waiting to check in at the scorer's table. The mat on the right side of the gymnasium is going to be where Decorah and Oelwein will wrestle. Vikes picked up the season opening dual win 37-36 tonight, and Kennedy Folkedahl and Cole Stanford will wrestle here at 145. New Hampton lost to North Fayette Valley, Oelwein lost to North Fayette Valley 45-24, and we're underway at 145. Stanford, a sophomore, and Folkedahl, a senior. Folkedahl got a fall to get Decorah on the board at 145. Folkedahl in on a single. Able to get the leg up in the air. Trying to get a trip. He hasn't been able to do anything with that leg yet. Tries the trip once again, but Stanford able to counter it nicely. Now he gets out of the grip of Folkedahl, and both men back into a four-head tie. Folkedahl now in on a double leg, trying to stuff the head of Stanford. We're on the side of the mat once again. Kennedy in on some nice offense once again, but it hasn't been able to finish in the first minute of the third period. The first period. Gets the leg up in the air once again, trying to trip and pull him down. He gets Stanford back down to the mat, but Stanford still has that whizzer in and has been able to get out of it. Now Stanford able to cradle up Kennedy Folkedahl. Stanford off to the side and gets the takedown. And now he has the cradle hooked up and locked up, and now he's getting back points. Stanford has Kennedy on his back right now. Got a 2 count there briefly. Now Kennedy steps over, gets a reversal. 3 back points, 2 reversal points for Folkedahl. And Folkedahl trying to get a half in, getting some toe pressure up. It's a 5-2 lead now for Stanford with 20 seconds left here in the period. Stanford able to score after Kennedy Folkedahl had a couple of offensive chances that he didn't finish on. Stanford now down on the mat. Folkedahl has control of the leg and a 2-on-1 on the wrist now. Back to his feet goes Stanford, and the period comes to a close with Stanford leading by a 5-2 margin. 5-point mood for Stanford on the takedown. Folkedahl able to reverse himself. And Kennedy starts in the down position to start the second period. Pretty good hip pressure right away from Cole Stanford. Stanford continuing to work off to the side now. To his feet comes Folkedahl. Stanford still with control of the wrist, but knocking him back down once again is Stanford, and Stanford still in control in the top position with 1:25 left in the second period. A 5-point move for Stanford in the first period gave him a 5-2 lead. This is the opening bout of the Decorah-Oelwein duel. Decorah defeated New Hampton tonight 37-36. Kennedy able to get to his feet. Stanford still with control of the leg. Kennedy trying to break that grip, trying to get the hips back as Stanford has his head between the legs of Folkedahl now. Stanford still circling around, still has the grip of the leg, now takes the grip to the other leg, the left foot. Stanford head in the crotch area of Folkedahl. Folkedahl trying to counter that with a high C move of his own. Stanford still in control, and now he has a leg, and Folkedahl cradled up with 31 seconds left in the period. Stanford out chest to chest, and Stanford's going to get the fall. Cole Stanford, the sophomore for Oelwein, with a fall in 2:31. And Oelwein takes a 6-0 lead here at 145 pounds. Let's go to 152, Alec Felschul. Off to a nice start this season. He had a fall earlier tonight. And Tyson Decorah, a freshman for Oelwein, will wrestle Felschul here at 152. Vikes gave up a pin to start the New Hampton duel, but ended up winning. We'll see if history can't repeat itself there. Nice double by Felschul, and Felschul able to get the takedown. Felschul able to get the takedown. He leads it by a 2-0 margin. Now trying to work a 2-on-1 on the wrist. Now trying to cradle him up. The cradle fails, so he'll work to something else, and he'll go out of bounds with 1:30 left here in the first period. A 2-0 lead for Alec Felschul. Is off to a good start this season. Got off to a good start tonight with a fall in 28 seconds over Cody Wuchter of New Hampton. Felschul working off to the side, has a leg in. Now totally off to the side, as getting to his feet was Decker, and Decker goes out of bounds. 1:18 left here in the period. Felschul still in the controlling top position, 2-0 lead. Felschul working off to the side, working a 2-on-1 on the wrist. Decker's still bellied out in this situation. 1 minute left here in the period, and off to the side will go Felschul once again. Felschul with the arm tied up on the back. He's on the edge of the mat right now. Getting to his feet is Decker, but both men go out of bounds before control is lost. 47 seconds left here in the period. A 2-0 lead for Alec Felschul. Vikes gave up a fall at 1:45. Kennedy Folkedahl stuck by Cole Stanford in 2:31. Oelwein leading the duel by a 6-0 margin. Vikes won earlier tonight, 37-36. I believe Oelwein will fill every spot in the lineup. That's something historically they've had some trouble doing, but frankly it's kind of good to see. Todd Castley, the head coach, a good guy, does a good job with young people down here at Oelwein. And for a program that hasn't had a ton of success, he's stuck with it, and he's still making a difference in kids' lives, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. As 2 seconds left here in the period, and out of bounds they go, and the whistle blows, and actually that's the end of the first period. Felschul leading by a 2-0 margin. Alec will get the choice. He will defer. And Decker will look to Coach Castley, and he will take top. Felschul trying to get to his feet, does so immediately. Decker down to the crouch area. Felschul trying to get the grip, turns and faces and gets the escape. Now Felschul trying to hook up a cradle on Decker. Can't hook up the cradle, but covers him up and takes a 5-0 lead. Felschul got a takedown in the first period and an escape and a takedown quickly here in period number 2. To his feet comes Decker once again. Felschul, control of the upper body, control of the hands, and they go out of bounds with 1:24 left in the second period. Alec was able to control Decker from the top position for most of that first period. Felschul control of the wrist, working a little 2-on-1. Hasn't been able to make anything of it. Now goes for the far side wrist and gets a wing and a wrist in. Felschul with a wing and a wrist in. Still working off to the side. Decker hasn't been able to give up any points there. Alec lets go of the wrist, now gets it back, still has the wing in on the near side. He continues to work with 37 seconds left in the second period. Alec doing a good job of getting off to the side, but Decker hasn't let him hook anything up yet. 20 seconds left here in the period. .13 now left here in the period. Alex still has that wing and a wrist, but now he's got it hooked up, and now he's getting back points. No. Now he's getting back points with 1 second left in the period, and the period will come to a close. They will award 2 back points to Feldstuhl, and he will take a 7-0 lead. It'll be Feldstuhl's choice. And Alec, I believe, is going to take up. He will. Feldstuhl will take up as we start the third period. Working off to the side is Feldstuhl once again. He was able to turn him, but it took him a while after establishing that wing and wrist in the second period. To his feet comes Decker, but Alex still working in control. Still working the 2-on-1 on the wrist. He wrestles towards the side of the mat. Decker able to get to his feet. Alec lets him go, and it's now a 7-1 lead. 1:25 left in the period. Of course, Decker trying to make this a 3-point loss, if nothing else, rather than a 4-point loss. Decker in on a shot. Feldstuhl tries to counter. Neither men able to score out of it. 1:10 left here in the third period. Feldstuhl in on a nice double once again. Steps up to a peek through position. Hasn't been able to finish it enough yet. Works off to the side. He's now to a single. Switches off once again to the double. Decker doing a good job of countering it. Stopping the hip pressure of Feldstuhl. Feldstuhl with his head on the mat. 35 seconds left in the period. Still 7-1. Control of the leg by Feldstuhl, and he goes back to the double. He has his hands around the knees of Decker, and a stalemate is going to be called with 23 seconds left in the period. Be nice to see Feldstuhl get that takedown, give his team 4 points instead of 2 here. 20 seconds left in the period. Alec does have 2 takedowns, 2 near fall points, and an escape here tonight. 14 seconds left in the period. Feldstuhl in on that single, but his head is flat on the mat as he took the shot there. So Decker easily able to tie him up. 2 seconds left in the period. Decker is actually able to get a takedown as the third period comes to a close. So Decker doing a nice job of preventing a 4-point win there for Decorah. And it's a 6-3 lead for Oelwein as we move on to 60. Alec Feldstuhl gets the victory, but you probably wanted 4 out of that, especially knowing the situation you were in, leading by a 7-0 margin as we hit the third period. Christian Opperman, a senior for Oelwein, and Cody Rittner, a senior for Decorah. Rittner fell to Michael Kramer earlier tonight. Rittner with a nice takedown right away on Opperman. And the lead is a 2-0 right now. .145 left here in the period. As they go out of bounds, Rittner will cover. Whistle sounds. Action to begin once again. Quickly to his feet is Opperman. Rittner controlling the wrist behind, but doesn't do anything with it, so he's hit for stalling, so throwing him back down now is Rittner. Rittner responds to the stall warning quickly by getting Opperman back down to the mat. Cody working across body that time as he had the wing on one side and the crotch on the other. Opperman trying to get to his feet. Breaking him down from his base was Rittner. 1:13 left here in the first period. It's a 2-0 lead for Cody Rittner. He got a takedown right away. Here in this, the period as Opperman steps over. Rittner gets a whizzer in. He's able to get the escape as he throws Rittner away to make it a 2-1 lead. And both men back to a 4-1 head-to-4-head tie at the middle point of the first period. They wrestle on the side of the mat and they go out of bounds with 51 seconds left here in the first period. Oelwein leading the duel 6-3. Cole Stanford with a win by a fall over Kennedy Folkedahl at 145. Alec Felstrow with the 7-3 decision victory over Tyson Decorah. And right now Cody Rittner leading Opperman 2-1. A throw by Opperman, and Opperman able to cover him up and get a takedown. And Opperman gets a 3-2 lead for the Huskies. Opperman riding a little high. Cody off to the side of the mat, and they go out of bounds with 19 seconds left here in the period. Rittner trailing now by a 3-2 margin despite getting the early first takedown in this one. Opperman covers. Rittner able to get to his feet, turns and faces, and gets the escape to tie it up at 3 with 14 seconds left here in the period. Rittner aggressively after Opperman, but Opperman stops him with the tie. 5 seconds left here in the period. And the first period will come to a close with each man having a takedown and an escape. Opperman and Rittner are tied at 3. Oelwein defers. Rittner will go down. Decorah won earlier tonight by a 37-36 margin. Rittner able to get to his feet. Chopped back down once again. Rittner able to get to his feet once again. Now turns and faces. Opperman still with control. They go out of bounds, but they are going to give the escape on the side of the mat, so Cody takes a 4-3 lead. Both men start in the neutral position with 1:37 left here in the period. Rittner working a wrist. Out of bounds they go. 1:28 left in the period. 4-3. Rittner with the lead here at 60. Oelwein leading the duel 6-3. This is the third match of the night. 4-head tie with Rittner. Opperman reaching for a leg. Rittner able to get the hips back to counter. They wrestle in the center of the mat with 1:08 left here in the second period. A 4-head tie with Rittner and with Opperman. Rittner gets to a single. Has the head near the crotch area, so he switches it off to a double. And out of bounds they go. No points awarded. Control not established until both men went out of bounds. 54 seconds left here in the period. It's a 4-3 lead for Cody Rittner. Rittner and Opperman, a pair of seniors. Duking it out here at 160. Four-head tie with both men. 33 seconds left here in the period. Rittner trying a level change. Opperman able to get the hips back. Rittner gets to that single once again. Opperman trying to escape the grip, does so. Circles and faces, and then both men go out of bounds with 19 seconds left here in the period. 17 seconds now in the period. 4-3. Cody Rittner with the lead. And a whistle, and perhaps an inadvertent one from the official. Now 7 seconds left in the period. It'll be Oelwein's choice in the third period. 2 seconds left, 1 second left, and that is going to be it for the second period. A 4-3 lead for Rittner. Opperman with the obvious choice to go down in this situation. And somebody moved early, and it will be Opperman with the caution. Rittner circling behind. As the near side wrist, trying to work a wing on the other side. Opperman able to get up to a base, but Rittner able to cradle him up. Rittner follows him behind and still keeps Opperman down on the mat with 1:30 left here in the period. A 4-3 lead, and they go out of bounds. Rittner leading by the slimmest of margins here at 160. Oelwein leading the duel here in the third match of the night by a 6-3 margin. And I think we got some blood time coming up. Blood time for Oelwein. Through 160 on the other mat. North Fayette leading New Hampton. Of course, we got to say North Fayette Valley now, 7-6. North Fayette Valley and Decorah will close out the night in our third duel of the night. And we'll have to see what time this Decorah-Oelwein duel will end. Since we go off the air at 10 o'clock, that we might be pushing it to get the Decorah-North Fayette Valley duel on the air as well. Blood being cleaned up on the far side. Coach Castley talking to Opperman while the blood timeout is taking place. Coach Friedoff with some words of encouragement to Rittner. 1:34 left here in the third period. A 4-3 lead for Rittner. Rittner in that top position. Opperman got to his feet, broken down nicely by Rittner. Rittner with the shoulder off to the side, looking for a far side wrist. Opperman active down low. Opperman sitting out. Rittner had the wing in, now moves down to the high C area. Working the high C on one side, a wing on the other side. Opperman, though, able to get to his feet. Rittner works the cradle on the opposite side. Opperman escapes the grip of the cradle. No points awarded, though. Opperman getting to his feet. Rittner goes out of bounds, and they are going to give the 1 point to Opperman. If Opperman would have just perhaps finished his move there, he could have gotten the points for a reversal, but they only gave him the escape. And it's 4-4 with 45 seconds left here in the third period. Each man with a takedown and 2 escapes to this point. 35 seconds left here in the period. Rittner. And a forehead-to-forehead tie with Opperman. He gets to that single once again. High single for Rittner. And both men go out of bounds once again. 22.7 to wrestle here in the third period. Rittner and Opperman tied up here at 160. Oelwein leading the duel. This is the third match of the duel. 6-3. Opperman and Rittner in a forehead-to-forehead tie. Now they're off ear to ear. Opperman trying to snap down. He's able to get behind. Rittner still on his feet. Rittner still controlling the leg of Opperman. He loses the grip of it. And they go out of bounds with 3.5 to wrestle. Cody Rittner perhaps living a little dangerously there. 3.5 seconds left. We're tied at 4. Opperman off to the side and gets a late takedown to defeat Rittner. Opperman just quicker on the whistle that time. And Christian Opperman gets a takedown as double zeros were going up on the clock, and Oelwein gets a victory at 160. As Opperman's reaction time was frankly a lot better than Cody's that time. Chase Rising now here at 170 for the Huskies, and Jared Adam for Decorah. 9-3 lead for the Oelwein Huskies. Oelwein with a fall from Cole Stanford against Kennedy Folkedahl at 145. Alec Felstruel. A decision victory for Decorah at 152 against Tyson Decker. Cody Rittner losing to Christian Opperman on a last-second takedown, 5-3. And now Jared Adam and Chase Rising. Couple of seniors. Rising with more varsity time as of right now. Jared's been in the lineup here at 170. Adam in a couple of ties, reaching out of those ties. Won't be able to make anything work. Rising tries to get to a single. Adam tries to counter. Rising able to circle behind and get a takedown to make it a 2-0 lead for the Oelwein Huskies. Rising now has the arm locked up. Now a cradle locked up against Adam. 55 seconds left here in the period. And off to the side is Rising. He keeps moving. Hasn't gotten to a position to get back points yet. But has the leg and the arm tied up very well. Now he reaches back, and now he's getting back points against Adam. Steps the leg over. Adam not quite flat yet, but there he is. Chase Rising with a fall in a minute 38. The Oelwein Huskies with a 15-3 lead on Decorah here with a minute here through 170, and we started at 145. We move on to 182. And Kyle Hageman and Robbie McKeeman here for Oelwein at 182. Here's Kyle, a senior, and McKeeman, a freshman for Oelwein. The Huskies off to an impressive start here. Coach Friedoff talked about it in the pre-meet interview way back when tonight. Said this Oelwein team a lot better than what they were in years past. Simple things like filling a full lineup, and if you follow the wrestling circuit, this Oelwein team has some kids that have done some nice things traveling around in wrestling, and so far it's a 15-3 lead for Decorah, or for Oelwein, I should say, on Decorah. No scoring yet here in the first minute of the second period for Hageman and McKeeman. They've basically just been working ties here for this first period. It's an ear-to-ear tie. You got a senior against a freshman here. Neither man with a ton of varsity experience. But now McKeeman looking to throw Kyle right now, and he gets him. And he gets the takedown. He's got Kyle on his back. He's getting back points right now. McKeeman with 25 seconds left here in the period. Seconds left here in the period. Hageman not doing a lot to fight. Will he be saved by the clock? He won't. Robbie McKeeman with a fall in a minute 56, and the Oelwein Huskies, ladies and gentlemen, are out to a 21-3 lead through 5 weight classes here tonight. And we move on to 195. Zach Lamphere for Oelwein and Sean Truin for Decorah. Truin back in the lineup after missing the first week of the season with a knee injury. He got a forfeit victory earlier tonight and will try to change the fortunes for the Vikings right now. Lamphere, junior for the Huskies. Truin, the senior for the Vikings. Both men have worked ties. Lamphere reaching for the wrist of Truin. Forehead-to-forehead tie with Truin and Lamphere. Now they break away as they wrestle in the inner circle of the mat. Forehead-to-forehead once again with Truin and Lamphere. Now they switch to an ear-to-ear tie. And out of bounds they go with a minute 8 left here in the period. Truant aggressive off the whistle. .58 seconds left here in the period. And out of bounds they go. 51 seconds left in the period. The only win for Decorah thus far is an Alec Belschul decision victory at 152. Trent reaching for a leg, won't be able to get there. Lamphere able to circle him around. Sean in an ear-to-ear tie. He reaches for the leg once again. Lamphere able to get the hips back. 30 seconds left in the period. And here is Lamphere able to get a takedown on Truant. He leads it 2-0. .12 seconds left here in the period. Lamphere with a leg in on Sean. Sean trying to shake him off. Sean up to a tripod position. 3 seconds left here in the period. And the period will come to a close with Zach Lamphere leading by a 2-0 margin.
At 182 for New Hampton, Kyle Blaylock. For Wrestling At Oelwein, Daniel Speeder.
Second period begins. Neutral start for both men. Both men working underhooks. Reaching out of the underhook is Sean, but Lamphere able to get the hips back. Lamphere just staying in that good position in the center of the mat. Reaching for it. Unsuccessfully was Lamphere, as they go out of bounds with a minute 23 left here in the period. Oelwein leading the duel 21-3. We wrestle at 195. We started at 145. Sean locks up the head of Lamphere. Sean on the side of the mat, and they go out of bounds. Minute 3 left here in the period. Another forehead-to-forehead tie with both men. 48 seconds left here in the period. Lamphere got a late period takedown in the first period and leads it 2-0. Sean able to get to that single, but his head's on the mat. Lamphere controlling the ankle of Sean, controls the far wing and able to knock him down and get the takedown. A lot of these shots that have been taken have ended up with the Viking wrestlers with their heads on the mat. And at that point, it's awfully tough to get the takedowns. Lamphere riding a little high with 11 seconds left in the period. Sean yet to score here. But Lamphere has a leg in on Sean, trying to tilt him. Hasn't tilted him to the point where he's giving up back points, and the period will come to a close. Lamphere leading at 195, 4-0. Oelwein leading Decorah 21-3. It'll be Truant's choice, and he will go neutral. At 182 on the far mat, New Hampton leading North Fayette Valley by a 9-7 margin. Forehead-to-forehead tie with Truant and Lamphere, but Sean's got to get to work here as he trails at 4-0 and really hasn't had a ton of offense to this point. Credit Lamphere and the good position that he is staying in. .130 left here in the period. Ear-to-ear tie, Truant. Truant now controlling the head and the wrist, but Lamphere able to break the free. Lamphere's got his back to the edge of the mat here, and now he circles back in. If Lamphere circles back in a little bit more, that'll avoid any danger of potentially getting a stall calling here. 55 seconds left here in the third period. Sean putting the pressure on, and the whistle, and it goes out of bounds. 53 seconds left here in the period. Sean's got to open up. He trails 4-0. He reaches for a shot. Lamphere able to control the head. Lamphere's got the front headlock in, looking for the throw. Sean able to get out of it. 40 seconds left in the period. It's still 4-0 Lamphere. Lamphere still leading 4-0 with 33 seconds left here in the period. Forehead to forehead tie once again. 28 seconds left in the period. Truant trailing 4-0. This is the first time he has been on the mat this year. He got a victory earlier tonight against New Hampton for basically making weight and got his hand raised for a forfeit. 10 seconds left in the period. Lamphere with a takedown in the first period. In the second period, Sean reaches for a shot once again. Lamphere able to circle around. No points yet, but it's not going to matter as Lamphere gets a 4-0 victory on Sean Truant. And the Oelwein Huskies now with a 24-3 advantage on the Decorah Vikings. And we move on to 2:20. Travis McMillan for the Huskies, a sophomore. Riley Rue for Decorah, a senior. So far in this duel at 145, as McMillan in right away on Rue. Rue trying to control the head and look for a throw, but McMillan countered it well and got the takedown to make it 2-0. At 145, Cole Stanford with the fall in 2:31 over Kennedy Folkedahl. Little guillotine move here for McMillan, and he's got Riley Rue on his back. Not close enough to get back points here at the present time. McMillan now steps over. Hasn't gotten it to the angle to award back points yet, and now he is getting back points. McMillan here at 2:20 against Riley Rue. 1:05 left in the period. McMillan is out chest to chest. Rue trying to belly out of it, but McMillan's got the grip in tight. And a fall. A fall in 1:09 for Travis McMillan. And the Oelwein Huskies now with a 30-3 lead on Decorah. And Cole Headington will try to stop the bleeding. And Parnell Williams will be his opponent, a junior. Headington ended up with a fall earlier tonight against New Hampton. That was his first ever varsity match. And here's a takedown for Parnell Williams. He leads it by a 2-0 margin. Williams working around to the back of Headington, controlling the hip on one side, trying to control the leg on the other. Headington will try to get up to a tripod position. Williams had an opportunity to get the half there, but he didn't quite make it work. .45 seconds left here in the period. 2-0 the lead for Parnell Williams. Williams continuing to control the wrist on one side and the leg on the other. 15 seconds left here in the period. Oelwein leading the duel 30-3. 15 seconds left here in the period. Williams got a quick takedown and has done a pretty good job controlling from the top position, but hasn't been able to make anything work. And a whistle. I believe the towel boy told the referee it was the end of the period, and at least the referee reacted that way. But there's still 6.9 on the clock. Covering is Williams. Cole trying to get out. He couldn't quite do it. And the end of the first period is upon us with Parnell Williams leading by a 2-0 margin. Williams with a 2-0 margin. And Williams will have the choice and start down. Williams able to get to his feet. Cole working off to the side. Cole able to knock him off his base and cover him once again. But Williams able to get out of the grip and get the escape. It is a 3-0 lead for Parnell Williams. Parnell Williams with the 3-0 lead on Cole Headington. 1:28 left here in the second period. And we have an injury time here. Headington might have bumped heads, or is there some blood there? Perhaps there is some blood for Cole Headington, and they will go off to the side. Gives us a chance to recap the duel to this point at 1:45. Cole Stanford for Oelwein wins by a fall in 2:31 over Kennedy Folkedahl of Decorah. 152 Decorah with their lone decision to this point on the night. Alec Felschul with a 7-3 win over Tyson Decker of Oelwein. At 160, Christian Opperman for Oelwein with a 5-3 win over Cody Rittner of Decorah. At 170, Chase Rising of Oelwein with a fall in a minute 38 over Jared Adam of Decorah. At 182, Ryby McKeenan, a fall in a minute 56 over Kyle Hageman of Decorah. 195, Zach Lamphere with a 4-0 win on Sean Truan of Decorah. 220, Travis McMillan with a fall in a minute 9 over Riley Rue of Decorah. And right now at 285, Parnell Williams with a 3-0 advantage on Cole Headington. Williams working off to the side, able to snap Headington down and get a takedown to make it 5-0. Williams doing a good job getting off to the side, but Cole able to get to his feet, trying to establish some hand control, and they go out of bounds. No control change. 40.6 to wrestle here in the second period, with Williams leading here at 285 by a 5-0 margin. Working off to the side is Williams once again. Cole hasn't done a lot from the bottom position. 23 seconds left in the period. And now Williams has Cole on his back with 15 seconds left in the period, and there's the fall. Parnell Williams with a fall in 2:47. And Oelwein is up by a 36-3 margin. Let's move to the little guys with Joe Kanoki. Austin Parmalee for Oelwein, Joe Kanoki for Decorah. That's the matchup here at 106. And since there's 6 matches left, the Vikings basically need to pin out, but let's give credit to this Oelwein team. This as Joe gets a nice takedown on Parmalee to make it 2-0. Parmalee, a freshman, Kanoki, the sophomore, and now Joe with the cross-face cradle. He's trying to lock it up. Parmalee doing a good job of countering it to this point. Parmalee able to get out of the cradle grip of Kanoki. The lead remains 2-0, but Kanoki controls the far side wrist. Looking for a little bit of a wing and a wrist with 40 seconds left here in the period. Parmalee reaches back and tries to get the head. Now is able to escape that grip. But Parmalee gets out of danger of getting stuck. So 24 seconds left here in the period. It's 36-3 Oelwein in the duel. It's 2-0 Kanoki here at 106. Kanoki still working off to the side. Working the high C on one side. Has the arms tied up on the other. 5 seconds left in the period. Joe's done a pretty good job of riding. Now looks for the far side cradle. Can't keep the grip. And the first period will come to a close. And Kanoki will lead it 2-0. 106 is the weight class. Oelwein out with a vengeance here in this conference duel. They lead it 36-3, but Coach Friedoff talked about it. This is not your father's Oelwein team. This Husky team doing some nice things here in the early part of the season. This is probably as much depth as Coach Castley has had for a while. Just little things like putting 14 kids into a lineup. They've got multiple weight classes with multiple kids. So compared to having maybe 10 kids in the room, I can only do your program good. As Kanoki continuing to work off to the side. 1 minute left here in the second period. 36-3 the score. In the duel, Kanoki leading 2-0. Kanoki with the arms tied up high. Parmalee trying to turn and face. Austin able to get to his feet and able to get the escape. And that makes it a 2-1 lead. Or actually, it's let's see, it's 4-1 on the board. 4-1 the lead for Kanoki. 25 seconds left here in the second period. Joe with the control of both wrists. Now steps around, but loses that grip, and now Parmalee steps over and gets takedown to make it 4-3. Austin Parmalee, the freshman for Oelwein. Off to the side. And the period comes to a close. And Parmalee will choose up here in the third period, with Kanoki leading by a 4-3 margin. Kanoki with a couple of takedowns. Parmalee with a takedown and an escape. Joe able to get to his feet immediately, trying to get some hand control on the way up. Parmalee grabs the wrist, tries to tilt him by controlling the far side hip. Joe doesn't let him do it. Joe able to get to a tripod position. Breaking him down off his base is Parmalee. Joe trying to get to his feet once again. Parmalee with the leg in. Minute 23 left here in the period. Joe still leading by a 4-3 margin. Trying to pick up Decorah's second win of the night. Parmalee with the leg in. He has a power half in as well, and a stalemate's going to be called. .102 left here in the third period. Kanoki leading by a 4-3 margin. Joe quickly to his feet. Trying to get some hand control. Parmalee still in that top position. 52 seconds left here in the period. Joe gets to a leg, but Parmalee controlling the far side wrist. Joe able to get that wrist free. He's got control of the leg, and he's off to the side of Parmalee. If he can get around the leg of Parmalee and pop his head here, he could possibly get a reversal, but Parmalee not going to let him do it, as Parmalee trying to tilt him by controlling both wings up top. 17 seconds left in the period. Parmalee shows up to start the third period. 10 seconds left in the period. Off to the side is Parmalee. 5 seconds left. 4, 3. And Parmalee unable to make anything work, and Joe Kanoki will pick up a victory for the Vikings. Kanoki with a couple of takedowns, one in each of the first two periods. And the deficit is cut to 36-6. Carter Hubka and Brennan Ryan facing one another now. Hubka had a very good match against Connor Cleveland, the top-ranked kid for New Hampton. And that was probably one of the key parts of the victory. Hubka only lost that one earlier tonight by a 2-0 margin. That was probably one New Hampton was counting on getting some bonus points. In. Hubka shoots in on a single. Gets Ryan's leg up in the air. Ryan trying to counter. Hubka hasn't been able to do anything with it. They're on the side of the mat with a minute 13 left in the period, and they go out of bounds. So still no score. 1:08 left in the period. Hubka controlling both wrists, now working a 2-on run as both men are on the mat right now. Now Ryan is working around. Now gets Hubka's leg up in the air. Ryan has Hubka's leg up in the air. Ryan steps over. Hasn't been able to get control yet. He's trying to put Hubka on his head. Still no control awarded. 23 seconds left in the period. Hubka's trying to pop the head and circle around to cover, and potentially dangerous called as Hubka had the leg of Ryan at an awkward angle. Out of all that scrambling, no points awarded. 13 seconds left in the period. Forehead-to-forehead tie. Ryan in on a level change attempt. Unsuccessful, and we'll go to the second period scoreless. This is Vikings Radio, 1240 KDEC Decorah and KDECRadio.net. Darren Swenson with you from Oelwein tonight. Hubka starting the second period in the top position. Carter trying to get a leg in. He's tied up the arms up top. Still riding pretty parallel for the time being. 1:30 left here in the second period. Hubka still with the hand around the wrist, and now stepping over and grabbing the head is Ryan, and Ryan gets a reversal, and he's got Carter on his back. Ryan gets a reversal, and he's got Carter on his back. 1:10 left here in the period, and there's the fault. Ryan in 2:56 gets a fall on Carter Hubka, and that will clinch the victory for the Oelwein Huskies. Huskies leading 42-6. And we move on to 120 with Devin Storts. Devin Storts had a major decision earlier tonight. And Riley Hershey will wrestle for Oelwein. He's just a freshman. Devin Storts and Riley Hershey. Sophomore against freshman here. Over on the other mat, it's North Fayette leading New Hampton 25-24. And here's a takedown for Devin Storts, and it's a 2-0 lead for Storts as he works off to the side. Storts trying to tilt him, has a wrist locked up. Perhaps looking for a little ball and chain as he works through the high C area, and the whistle blows as they go out of bounds. 21.8 left, and they're actually going to give Storts a couple of back points there as well. So it's a 4-0 lead for Devin Storts. Earlier tonight, Decorah defeated New Hampton 37-36, but the Oelwein Huskies looking impressive in their first conference duel of the night, 42-6. They lead New Hampton. Storts had Hershey on his back, but only got a 1 count out of it. Devin doing a pretty good job of controlling Hershey from the top position now, and the whistle blows and some injury time and some blood time here for Devin Storts. Recapping this Oelwein duel, Oelwein got off with a victory from Cole Stanford at 1:45. He won by a fall over Kennedy Folkedahl. 1:52, Alec Felstrow with a decision victory. 7-3 over Tyson Decker. At 1:60, Christian Opperman for Oelwein gets a last second takedown, defeating Cody Rittner 5-3. At 1:70, Chase Rising for Oelwein wins by a fall in 1:38 over Jared Adam of Decorah. 1:82, Robbie McKeeman with a fall in 1:56 over Kyle Hageman of Decorah. 195, Zach Lamphere with 4-0 victory over Sean Truman of Decorah. At 220, Travis McMillan with a fall in 1:09 over Riley Rue of Decorah. At 285, Parnell Williams, a fall in 247 over Cole Headington of Decorah. At 106, Joe Kanoki gets Decorah's second victory of this duel. A 4-3 win over Austin Parmalee, and Brennan Ryan wins by a fall in 256 over Carter Hubka at 113. Right now, Devin Storts at 120, leading Riley Hershey by a 4-0 margin. So New Hampton fell victim to the Vikings earlier tonight, 37-36, and now New Hampton, I believe, has 27-25 win on North Fayette. And it's the funny thing about this sport, it's all about how you match up with teams, because North Fayette Valley defeated Oelwein. Obviously, the matchups were in their favor, as Devin Storts will end the period leading by a 4-0 margin. But the matchup's just in favor to Decorah here in this Oelwein duel. And Oelwein leads it by a 42-6 margin. And for the first time in probably what a lot of people can remember, Oelwein is going to end up getting a dual victory over Decorah. Neutral start here in the second period as Devin Stortz leads it by a 4-0 margin. Riley Hershey, his opponent. Stortz quickly to that single leg. Gets the leg of Hershey up in the air. Gets him back down to the mat. No control established yet. Now he's given the takedown. Tries to cradle up Hershey. And now Stortz is off to the side. Has Hershey on his back. And Hershey, or Stortz, awarded the fall. Devin Stortz gets the fall in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And Oelwein now leads it by a 42-12 margin as Devin Stortz gets the first fall of this duel. Colton Mickelson and Chase Hershey now for Oelwein. Hershey, a pretty tough kid for the Huskies. Colton earlier tonight lost by a fall. Hershey, if I remember correctly, was a district qualifier a year ago, if not a state qualifier. Colton has the head stuff, trying to circle around. Colton now steps in to Hershey, and Hershey able to put him on his back, and Hershey able to get the takedown. Mickelson on his belly. Hershey riding pretty parallel, trying to get a half in. Mickelson not letting him do so as both men go off to the side of the mat and out of bounds. 1:03 left here in the first period. A 2-0 lead for Hershey. Other conference schools are in action tonight. A couple of finals in conference action. Waverly Shellrock over Walk-On 65-15, and Charles City over Crestwood by a 42-28 margin. And a crazy night here in Oelwein, and one more duel to go. Whether we'll have enough time to get that one on the air remains to be seen. It'll be Decorah and North Fayette Valley. They are at 126. New Hampton leading North Fayette Valley 27-26. Mickelson able to get the escape to make it 2-1 with 25 seconds left here in the period. 20 seconds now as Hershey controlling the head of Mickelson, controlling the arm as well, trying to circle around and cover him up. Whether he's going to have real estate to do it on the side of the mat, it remains a question right now. And out of bounds they go with 2 seconds left in the period. Hershey leading by a 2-1 margin. And the period comes to a close with Hershey leading 2-1. Two more matches to go here at 132 and at 138. And Hershey is going to take top here in the second period on his choice. Hershey covers, the second period begins. Hershey quickly controlling the arm, trying to work off to the side. Has the wing established, going for the far side wrist. Mickelson isn't letting him grab that wrist for the time being. He tries for a third time unsuccessfully, does Hershey. Mickelson able to get to a tripod, but knocking him back off his base was Hershey. He knocks him back down off his base for a second time. 1:23 left here in the second period. A 2-1 lead for Oelwein's Cole Hershey. Oelwein leading the duel 42-12. Decorah beat New Hampton earlier tonight by a 37-36 margin. Out of bounds the Wrestlers go with 1:09 left here in the second period. Quickly to his feet is Mickelson. He's able to turn and face, but he ran out of real estate on the side. So Hershey remains in control. 1:03 left here in the second period. Up to his feet comes Mickelson. He's trying to turn and face. He's able to get awarded the escape. Make it 2-2, but a headlock and a throw from Hershey has Mickelson on his back now. And there's the fall. Colton got the escape, but Hershey attacked right away. Gets the fall in 3:14. And Hershey makes it 48-12 Oelwein. And for the Huskies right now, Carter Black. And Brennan Numedall for Decorah at 1:32. Again, if you weren't with us earlier, Kellen O'Shea hurt his knee in practice earlier this week, and we will find out more on Monday. Huskies will get the victory here on Decorah. 48-12. And here is Numedall getting taken down. Trying to get the half in right away is Carter Black. A lot of these young kids for Oelwein. And they're at 132 over on the far mat. I believe New Hampton now has 30-25 lead on North Fayette Valley. 1:05 left here in the first period. 2-0 lead here for Carter Black on Brennan Numedall. Numedall able to get to his feet, gets the escape to make it a 2-1 lead. Reaching for a shot is Black. Numedall tries to do the same out of a tie unsuccessfully. And now reaching for a double leg is Black. They're on the side of the mat. And out of bounds they go. 35.8 left here in the first period. .25 seconds left in the period. Numedall trailing Block by a 2-1 margin. Pair of freshmen out here. Both men in upper body ties looking for a throw. Block able to move his grip down to about the waist. Breaks down Numedall and gets the takedown to make it a 4-1 match. 4-1 Black leading Numedall as the second period will come to a close. Second period starts with a neutral start. Block in on a nice double leg. Able to take Numedall immediately down to his back. Now he hooks up a half, and he's got him on his back right on the edge of the mat. Numedall in trouble. And there's the fall. Block gets the fall in 2:19. And the Huskies are up by a 54-12 margin. And one final match for this duel here as Isaiah Mitchell will wrestle for Decorah. And Elliott Phillips for Oelwein. Mitchell earlier tonight lost by a fall to Justin Wheelock of New Hampton. North Fayette Valley heading into the final match has just taken a 31-30 lead on New Hampton as they wrestle at 138. As we are underway here at 138 in this match. We've just kind of made the determine with the late start and everything tonight. We will not be able to bring you that Decorah North Fayette Valley duel. They have to go off the air at 10 o'clock tonight. And if this was some sort of postseason significance, we could ask Luther College Radio to give us some time, but we're not going to ask them to do that on a night like tonight. As Mitchell able to take his man down to the mat, Isaiah gets a 2-0 lead, and the men go out of bounds with 1:13 left here in the first period. And sometimes we'd flip it over to the FM side, but of course that has Iowa State basketball tonight. But those of you that follow me on Twitter, I'll keep you up to date on that one. So Mitchell working off to the side. 1:03 left here in the period. Isaiah with the 2-0 lead, trying to pick up the fourth win for Decorah here tonight. Mitchell working pretty well off to the side as both men go out of bounds. .47.3 to play first quarter. It is a 2-0 lead for Isaiah Mitchell. Trying to sit out here is Phillips. Phillips trying to step over, trying to go with him as Mitchell, and Isaiah does a pretty nice job of doing so. He stays behind him, remains in control, but now Phillips goes to the leg, able to reverse Mitchell, and now he's got Isaiah on his back, and back points being counted. Quickly getting to his feet is Mitchell. They get 3 back points to Phillips after the reversal, so a 5-point move has put Phillips on top by a 5-2 margin. Oelwein will defeat Decorah tonight. I tell you what, don't shake your head at that this Oelwein team is an awfully talented team as we go to the second period. A 5-3 lead, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. Yes, Decorah has left a lot to be desired with their performance in this duel. There's no doubt about it, but don't view this in an apocalyptic way because I tell you what, I've been watching Northeast Iowa Conference wrestling at a pretty good level for about 20 years, and Oelwein has normally been towards the bottom of this league, and based on what we've seen already here tonight, that will not be the case this year. Mitchell trailing by a 5-2 margin, starts the second period in the top position. Moving from the bottom position out to the near top position is Elliott Phillips. Mitchell still with control of the leg, circles behind, and no change. 1:15 left here in period number 2, a 5-2 lead for Elliott Phillips. Working around behind is Elliott Phillips, or is Mitchell, trailing 5-2. And out of bounds they go. Again, we apologize with the late hour. We will not be able to bring you tonight's third duel of the night, and here's a nice reversal for Elliott Phillips to make it 7-2. We will will do your best to keep you up to date on those of you that follow me on Twitter. I'll keep you up to date on that. And we'll also have a complete report on this later on during our sportscast tomorrow morning. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, we will have coverage of the Southwind Wrestling Invitational. We'll have updates on the FM side at the top of the hour, beginning in the 11 o'clock hour tomorrow morning. And then we'll also have a audio stream hold by hold tomorrow, beginning at 10 a.m. If you tune to our sports link, KDECRadio.net, and listen to that. That will be an internet-only link tomorrow as we go to the third period. Mitchell trails by a 7-2 margin. It'll be Isaiah's choice, and he'll go neutral. Neutral start for both men as they work the center. Mitchell with a nice outside single attempt, trying to reach for that half. He's able to get the takedown to make it 7-4. And bellying out of it is Isaiah Mitchell. Mitchell working off to the side, trying to put a leg in now. Working a 2-on-1 on the wrist, looking for a tilt. Can't quite do it. Tries the opposite side. Minute 10 left here in the period. .105 or 1 minute now left in the period. Isaiah trailing by a 7-4 margin. Got a nice takedown here at the start of the period. They gave up a 5-point move in that second period, and that's why he is losing. By a 7-4 margin. Looks like North Fayette Valley just beat New Hampton 36-30. Again, working off to the side as Mitchell with 23 seconds left here in the period. He still trails by 3. Has that leg in, now has the arm up on the back. Trying to connect something there, and Mitchell won't be able to make it work. 5 seconds left in the period, and the Oelwein Huskies will get another victory from Elliott Phillips, and the Huskies will take it to Decorah tonight by a 57-12 margin. Recapping this one, Cole Stanford at 145 wins by a fall in a 2 minutes 31 seconds over Kennedy Folkedahl of Decorah. At 152, Alec Felstrow of Decorah with a 7-3 margin victory over Tyson Decker of Oelwein. At 160, Christian Opperman of Oelwein with a 5-3 win over Cody Rittner of Decorah. At 170, Chase Rising with a fall in a minute 38 over Jared Adam of Decorah. At 156, Robbie McKeeman with a fall in a minute 56 over Kyle Hageman of Decorah. At 195, Zach Lamphere with 4-0 victory over Sean Truan of Decorah at 220. Travis McMillan at a fall in 109 over Riley Rue of Decorah. At 285, Parnell Williams with a fall in 247 over Cole Headington of Decorah. At 106, Vikes got a victory from Joe Kanoki 4-3 over Austin Parmalee. 113, Brennan Ryan with a fall in 256 over Carter Hubka of Decorah. 120, Devin Storts with a fall in 230 over Riley Hershey of Oelwein. At 126, Cole Hershey of Oelwein with a fall in 314 over Colton Mickelson of Decorah. At 132, Carter Block with a fall in 219 over Brennan Numedal of Decorah. And at 138, Elliott Phillips with a fall, or with a 7-4 decision victory over Isaiah Mitchell of Decorah. So the Huskies win the duel tonight, 57-12. Decorah will have one more duel left tonight, but since you got some JV kids and you also got some necessary wait time, there is no way possible we can get that duel done by by 10 o'clock tonight, so we will not be able to air that duel. We apologize for that. We'll have a complete report on it. For those of you that follow me on social media, I will do my best to keep you up to date on the next duel here tonight. And also, we will remind you that we'll have coverage from the Southwind Invitational. Updates begin on FM 100.5 at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And we will have live streaming, internet-only hold-by-hold tomorrow beginning at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and that will be at our website. Click the Listen Live link on the sports page of KDECRadio.net. So that'll do it for our coverage. Many people to thank for making it possible. First and foremost, our advertisers, the good sports-minded people who helped us bring the game home to you. Without their help, this coverage would not be possible. So, as always, we encourage you to support the businesses who support local high school sports. And lastly, and most importantly, we thank you, that's right, you, the listener, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our coverage tonight of Decorah, New Hampton, and Oelwein. Decorah defeats New Hampton 37-36 and loses to Oelwein 57-12. Don't forget, tomorrow morning we'll have updates from the Southwind Invitational beginning at 11 o'clock, and we'll have a live stream, hold-by-hold, internet-only broadcast tomorrow at KDECRadio.net beginning at 10 o'clock. So that'll do it from Oelwein tonight. Thanks a bunch for tuning in, and we will talk to you again tomorrow morning from Kilmer. First of all, you start this thing at 6.